Hey, good evening. Welcome to the America First Abilene Podcast. This is Chris Turner.
How's it going?
And I'm Jason, and here we're going to talk about, we have a little bit of bad news to start with. We had reported last time that the Israeli-U.S. merger under, was it Section 224 of the Defense Authorization Act, was going to merge U.S.-Israeli militaries, and that was defeated at first. But then that went ahead and passed the House last week, and that's unfortunate. But that doesn't mean that we're sold yet. It does go on to the Senate now. We saw both Chris and I watched earlier a podcast Tucker Carlson was doing, saying he heard it was not going to pass, and that would be very surprising, seeing as how it seems that our whole Senate is sold out to AIPAC. So what do you make of that, Chris? Tucker saying it's not going to pass.
Well, I mean, I hope he's right. The reason... Now, one of the tricky things, I think we mentioned it last time, that they snuck the SAVE Act into this thing. So they're trying to get it to where, they've been preaching, we need the SAVE Act, we need the SAVE Act. And I agree, we do need a SAVE Act. But it should not be part of this legislation is the problem. This is the NDAA, and then it's got that integration stuff with Israel, and they're trying to sneak that in there and just talk about, it's about the SAVE Act and it's good and we need to pass it to get our voting squared away and blah blah. No, they should do that separately. But either way, there's enough people. I think that's why Democrats don't want to pass this, actually. So it's probably hurting the overall effort. And then there's people like John Cornyn who don't want the SAVE Act to pass either, and so they're going to be hesitant. We'll actually see how it plays out, but because that's in there, I would say vote down the entire bill, because it's giving up our sovereignty. There's no price that's worth that, voting or not.
It is unprecedented. A lot of people compare it to agreements we have with other countries.
No, it's nothing like any agreement we have ever with any country. That's completely false. Mm-hmm. This literally hands them the keys to the kingdom to see all of our guns and data and everything else, to be able to spy on all of us. And
I'm coming from a place where I don't want to hate on Israel, but it's just, I've been warned. You see people like James Traficante and Lyndon LaRouche and Barry Goldwater, all these people who are kind of the outliers in politics, but they could come from politically different parts of the spectrum, but they all had that same warning, is that Israel was controlling our government. This seems like it just kind of legitimizes the whole concept.
Well, it codifies is what it does.
Right, thank you.
And as a result, you'd have to pass the whole thing later down the road to even get rid of this thing. And that's terrible news. So everything, we think they're our own Pentagon puts them as one of the top spy threats. Right. And we're going to share with them all this information. And don't make no mistake, the one that we lost in the lost episodes, we did a whole deal about how Bibi wrote a letter to the guy that put it out in the House to begin with. Yeah. And he said, thank you for doing exactly what I told you to do. Yeah. Is what it basically was, because he helped write the thing. And he could be not more happy about this thing if it went through. But that tells you how problematic it is right there. We should be doing that with no government. It's not about Israel or not. It's I'd say that Mexico, anybody.
Well, George Washington, in his farewell address, said to avoid entangling alliances.
Yes.
This is the exact opposite of what the founders had envisioned for this country.
Correct. This is a bad, bad thing and needs to be treated that way. This is not anti-Semitism or whatever buzzwords they want to throw at you. This is, hey, we're going to lose our sovereignty, period.
No, yeah, we wouldn't want this with any country.
No.
And Tucker Carlson is saying the bill's going to be defeated.
Hopefully.
If it's not defeated outright or loses steam before it gets there, there is a possibility that J.D. Vance, the vice president, is head of the Senate. He has connections in the Senate, having been a former senator. And I heard that he could force a renegotiation of this and take out the part about merging Israeli-U.S. militaries. So that is one way that this could be defeated practically. And the other, of course, is that President Trump could veto it. I don't think he will. I don't think anybody who's following this thinks he will do that.
No, not especially because the SAVE Act that he's been championing this whole time is tied to it now. So I don't believe he would.
Right.
But, maybe Vance would. He spoke out against Israel a couple times.
Yeah.
Again, this is not even about Israel. It's just about our sovereignty.
Right. It is. No entangling alliances. And so, we'll see if Tucker Carlson is right about this bill dying. I certainly hope he is, like you said, Chris.
So I sure hope he is too, because I'm telling you, I can't think of much worse for our country than that.
No more of a gross infringement against what the founding fathers wish, especially in Washington's farewell address. He's warning against something just like this. I don't think they ever dreamt of completely sharing all intelligence and weapons development.
No.
And they certainly never dreamed that we'd have the kind of weapons we have today. And next, we need to move into the surveillance state moves to Abilene, Texas. We've now verified there's multiple flock cameras set up here in Abilene.
Yeah, 13 official ones according to the APD. And then there's like 30 overall, I think, because there's some on private property too.
Mm-hmm.
Or 20, whatever it was. It's near 30, but they claim 13 of them are theirs. But yeah, and we're talking about like looking into some. It's not the Freedom of Information Act, but it'd be the Texas version of that to look into it and try to get more information so we can put out real numbers and stats on these things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be well worth the cause of doing.
Public information request, I think you said it was.
For Texas specifically, it's like Chapter 322 or something. But
yeah, because this is kind of like the data center issue. This just kind of got moved into town under our noses without any regard for what the citizens want.
Yeah, and I tried to look and see if the city council had passed it. I couldn't find them doing it. And they said in that case that sometimes the city manager can do it on their own. So that's something else we could look up through the information request and find out all back and forth between everyone involved.
Right.
Between the APD and the city council and the flock company in general,
Yeah.
We could get down to the bottom of exactly who's responsible. But they're here. And of course, there's been a propaganda campaign all week long trying to do damage control from the APD because there's a couple news stories that ran earlier in the week actually showing how upset people were about them. Mm-hmm. And so now they're trying to say, we don't spy and we don't do this and it's all for license plate reading only and blah, blah, blah. And whether that is accurate or not right now, flocks, they have the capability to, switch it with programs to do it.
Right, to upgrade to
yes,
facial
and
recognition.
they have a whole thing, I think it's Condor is the name of it, the flock Condor.
Yes.
And it can spy on every single thing, every movement you walking down the street, it can follow you.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it couldn't do that, hypothetically, it's still unconstitutional. And that's why all across Texas and federally even, they're coming up with different things. The Texas Rep Keith Self is working on a bill to shut down a lot of that, to make it where you have to get a warrant, which that's what this is warrantless spying on you.
Yes.
And this would be have to get a warrant, and then there's a couple other bills that are, Tim Burchett's working on one. Thomas Massey wants to ban them all the way around, and so do we, but that would be the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to limit them and rein it in to having warrants when they do it, which would be better than nothing. But
well, some guy locally commented that same old, what the sheeple have been programmed to say, mm-hmm. and that's if I'm not doing anything wrong, I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I have actually a friend I've been friends with for 30 years said that to me on Facebook after I put one. He said, "Well, what are you worried about? We catch people in my city all the time that are bad people and in the murders and all that, and you should have nothing to worry about if you didn't do anything." I lit into him after that.
Well, when people use that old tagline with me, mm-hmm. I say, well, let me come over to your house and take your bathroom door off the hinges.
Yeah.
If you don't need privacy, prove it.
Right.
But anyway, I was saying that I didn't think judicially we had any expectation of privacy in public, but you kind of educated me on that we actually do have some expectation of reasonable privacy.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between you and I going out there and filming with your camera what's around you and government agencies
tracking.
or corporations using it to spy on the general public
Without warrants.
Without a warrant. It's we actually do have at least an expectation of some privacy. I mean, you can be recorded by people, but when it's part of a coordinated network, that's a problem, and that's what makes it unconstitutional.
And there's different court cases that would stand by that across the board, and we might get into that deeper one day. But
yes, indeed, because we may have to if these things keep going up, or they're not. This problem isn't rectified pretty soon.
And I think they're surprised by the pushback right now that it's getting, but they're trying their best to make sure. It's no big deal. We don't spy on it. Yeah, right.
Well, if you're worried about pushback, you ain't seen nothing yet, because the longer they're there and the more people are educated on this subject, the more the pushback you're going to get.
Yeah, this looks like the groundwork of where the data centers are. People had started to push back against that, and now that's a full-on movement, and these are right behind it, I believe.
Indeed. Some people are still awake and still value that old saying, "It's a free country." We want to bring that saying back, because nobody says that anymore, because it's not true. Mm-hmm. At any rate, moving on from flock cameras, much more to come on that subject.
Yes.
But in the pursuit of justice in the pandemic of 2020, there's been some developments. Dr. Anthony Fauci was the head of Health and Human Services during that scandal and that outbreak / lockdown that we all endured, not just in America, but worldwide. Anthony Fauci's diary, I guess, has been subpoenaed, and
well, it's been turned over to Rand Paul and some other people that are investigating him already. But I guess I don't know how exactly they got it, but they've got it, and it's not disputed. It's his. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're reminding me, his public statements at the time of COVID do not match his comments he was making to himself in his diary, which means he was knowingly misleading the public.
Yeah. From everything from, his official stats were like 0.2 to 0.3 how many people would actually be detrimentally affected by the vaccine, and he went on the news the same day, wrote that down, and came out and said, it's 3 full %. So 10 times higher. He claimed it was 10 times higher on TV than he actually said in his diary. And he did more about how masking and the 6 feet crap and the lab leak, all that. He knew it was bull the whole time, and he just went out and lied about it.
Yep.
And this really shows how much of a scumbag he was from the very start. Right now, he's protected allegedly by the pardon that Biden gave him, but he's going to have to go. Rand Paul is calling for him right now to go in front of him again after this. So we'll see what happens.
We got to find some way to get that snake. He
should have been imprisoned a long time ago.
I mean, he was misleading the public about, they were calling what's the horse dewormer, ivermectin, saying that was horse goo. And you had late night talk show hosts out there berating people for choosing that, which is a Nobel Prize winning medicine,
right?
For people who are still buying into. But yeah, liberals are about to be reminded about how wrong they were about COVID. You were not very liberal, were you? Because you trusted government and corporations. You lost your way. And anyway, we've got to think independently, because they're going to do this kind of thing again. They keep working on these. It's a wonder we haven't had actual leaks from some of these biolabs that are just so dangerous. Mm-hmm. They have to have this level 4 security. And I think that's where the Wuhan lab in China was. This was not a Chinese virus. This was a virus laundered by the U.S. through China. So, and that is a good scapegoat to have, just blame it on China. Anyway, we're going to see what comes out of the Fauci Diaries. And I guess he'll choose his normal style of answering questions, which is to evade and berate his questioners. But that's what really, I'm not sure about you, Chris, but I really started getting politically active during COVID. I mean, that's what really, truly, we knew there was a problem with vaccines already.
Right.
But for that to be And I think it's a horrible precedent that Trump helped the establishment make, that is our way out. When there is a pandemic, they come up with a brand new experimental vaccine, so-called, and that is their way out. So you can open your business back up, so you can go back to family gatherings and ball games and all that stuff. Terrible historical precedent.
Yeah, well, and for most his base, I think, did not want to take it, or most freedom-minded people in general. I know it was never even a consideration for me to take it. I would never have, and you the same, I'm sure.
Indeed. Well, it really made it suspicious when they were offering free beer, free donuts, and these childlike incentives they were offering the childlike public, and unfortunately, a lot of people fell for that. And we've been trying to warn people about vaccines way before COVID. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies are literally above the law with no immunity. That's something that has to change.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've been critical of the Trump admin for this go around, is they not only have not held the big pharma companies accountable for all that, but they have made big money deals with them too. That it's just crazy work.
It's corruption defined. Carrie Bigford from Texas for Vaccine Choice posted earlier today, and I wanted to mention, it's not just the people that the vaccine killed or horribly injured, but some folks were so horribly injured that they ended up, as in a recent case, a man took his life because his symptoms were unbearable, and he was constantly living on the verge of death, and so he committed suicide. His wife wants to make sure everybody knows why, and saying that her battle is far from over. And there's a lot of people facing this battle, and the media won't tell you this stuff. They won't tell you about the dangers of vaccines, because when it goes to a commercial break, all you see on TV basically is vaccine and drug commercials.
We're one of 2 countries that allows that.
Yeah. United States and I believe New Zealand allows that kind of, what do they call it? Direct to consumer advertising.
Right.
Where they don't advertise through your doctor recommending a drug. They push it on you like it was Skittles or M&Ms.
And that should tell you right there, out of all the countries in the world, only 2 of them, and we're one of them.
Exactly. Well, as promised last time, I'm sorry I didn't have it tonight, but I'm going to do a dive into the Epstein files. I think they're not discussed bizarrely enough. It should be the story of the century, and you just don't see any coverage on it. What you do see is kind of peripheral. It doesn't go into actual emails. It just kind of goes into generalizations. And child trafficking in general, and ways you can help make that not the epidemic that we're told it is in this day and age, that we have human slavery going on under our noses. Is intolerable in a free society. The FBI for a long time would not keep these numbers on the number of children that disappear off the street. So somebody has to step up in the interest of the public.
Right.
So more on child trafficking, the Epstein affair, data centers, and flock cameras. We'll be talking about that stuff soon. Chris, did you have anything you wanted to add tonight?
Well, locally, the firefighters, the 2 referendums coming up in the November election. This goes back to the city administrator had cut a deal and was ready to go, and then the city council said no and sabotaged it. And, to give the firefighters an update in their pay based on the top 10 cities or whatever. Well, they blocked it, and so then the firefighters went and got all the signatures they needed to get it on the ballot. And all it's saying is, hey, we're going to meet again with the city council, and if no deal is made, then it would go to arbitration, so that we can, and the arbitration could go either way. It's not necessarily in favor of the firefighters or the city council, but it is in favor of getting the deal done, and it's fair. And so I am for this. I'll be voting yes on both of those. And without a doubt, I think they deserve to be paid much better, because one, we're a hugely growing city right now, by hook or by crook, because of the data centers. And when they get that thing built, fires is a real problem too on that. And so we might need them to help with that thing.
Yeah, we support our local fire department,
Yes,
for certain.
100%. And they were done wrong here by the city council. That's just all the way it is to it. So I suggest everybody goes and votes for these two referendums when they're on in November for the midterms.
And we'll definitely remind you about that coming up.
Yeah. Did you say you had anything else there? Let's see.
I think we covered just about all of it. I do want to say, I think Tammy Fogel is doing a great job fighting for the citizenry here. If you don't, Tammy is really good about going and watching the numbers and attending these meetings and staying on their rear ends. And without people like that, I really don't know what we do in Abilene. If you're not involved in local politics, that's kind of like, when you go vote for president, say, but you don't vote in local elections, that's like trying to build your house from the roof down. You can't change things by voting for president. You build your house from the foundation up, and that's why local politics is so important. And if that's it, Chris, I don't think I have anything else.
I do wanted to say that this week Trump came out it's about the data centers and said some outlandish nonsense.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. That was an outrage.
Yeah, he actually said you have to convince your communities how great these things are. You can't fight it. You have to go with it. Well, Mr. Trump, President Trump, I can fight it. We are fighting it. You're 100% wrong on this thing.
He sounds like a man throwing a chloroform handkerchief over a woman's face in an alley somewhere.
Yeah.
Just give in. Don't fight it.
Right. And he went on to say some other stuff, basically saying, well, the smart people, the smart communities out there, they want these things, but basically saying the ones that don't are stopping it. They're the dumb ones. But
yeah.
I'd rather be dumb and not have my electric bill skyrocketing and my town completely destroyed by this thing. So call me what you want, Mr. President, but
your water is so important, and I'm really worried about them contaminating our precious aquifers and groundwater here.
Yeah, well, we already have full water issues. That's that used to be Charles Perry's big thing before he went all crazy about the THC, but he used to, I'm going to get the water program and get some water, so we'll have water going decades into the future because we're going to run out. And yet you have 700 data centers in Texas. So how does that make any sense?
And as the ag commissioner, Sid Miller, outgoing ag commissioner Sid Miller said, we don't have the power for it.
No, we don't. I mean, just look. I don't know how you were affected a couple winters ago when we lost all that power statewide, but
luckily
I was affected by it, and it was horrible. I lost power for a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I had to literally leave my house because I was freezing to death. It was bad, and that was before, and now this is going to make the grid even worse and worse and worse. And at bare minimum, it's going to cause rolling blackouts and just a pain in our butts overall. And that's if it doesn't go horribly bad.
Right.
And we're going to be paying for all the updates and the new lines and everything else. That's going to be taken out of the consumers, not the data centers. So you can get ready. My bill was $400 this month. It's probably going to be $500 this next month. And that hasn't even gotten effective. Come 2027, I don't even want to see it.
Yeah, something's got to be done. And for those people out there that say, well, it's already there, so now you got to deal with it. I mean, if it affects my resources in my life.
Right. We don't have to deal with anything. First of all, that's a misnomer. But even if that were true, right now is the time to shut this down everywhere. Clyde just shut the second one down for them.
Yeah. Clyde, Texas, great job out there.
Yes.
They showed up to the council meeting.
And the judge was reasonable so far, the county judge. The council was pretty reasonable. That's what we're looking for. I think there's something like 90, what is the number? There's a huge number right now that are completely blocking or stopping all data centers for the moment for up to a year right now, just to see how this plays out, because that's what should have been done from the start. There needs to be, actually, I saw Greg Abbott on there, I think 3 days ago, saying, oh, well, this data center knew that they couldn't be under my regulations what I wanted, so they just said we're going to pull our project and leave. And he said the more people need to do that. Of course, they're not going to self and deport themselves
right.
in these situations. They already. But I mean, even within the Abilene one, that started out as like a project that wasn't even necessarily for the data centers. It was sold as something else, and they got in there and said, "Oh, well, we're going to do this, and then we're going to expand it again." And we could stop any future expansions for sure, because they're not done if we let them. They'll
right.
keep adding on to this stupid thing, or any of them. And it's not just that one, because all the ones in the area are still using our resources.
Right.
So it's still problematic. And, you know, I keep saying we're going to talk to Judge Crowley, and I mean to, but we'll see what he has to say about the whole thing. But
well, really what we want is for people to, if they made mistakes in how they voted
right.
or what they endorsed, admit you were wrong, and let's not do this anymore.
Yeah, and promise the people you're done. You're not going to add on any more data centers or expansions or anything else that has to do it. And that's where we need to get in a hurry. So yes, there's lots to do. It's not just, oh, it's already done, get over it.
No,
that's the wrong philosophy.
We refuse that philosophy. And yeah, we do want to talk to Judge Crowley, and we want to find out how our city council, if they were involved at all in this flock camera rollout here in Abilene, or if that was done administratively, like you said, with the city manager, and what role the Abilene Police Department played, because we pay their salaries. We want to know what they're doing, and if our privacy is being invaded, it seems like that's very unpopular, and we're seeing a lot of pushback here. I'm very proud of my fellow Abilenians for speaking out on this issue and getting engaged on it.
Yeah.
So look out, if you work for the city or law enforcement, people are waking up and watching you. So do the right thing. We do value our privacy. This is still the United States of America. We didn't sign it
at least till we sell it out to Israel.
Right, indeed. And for those of you out there that say the flock cameras are a good thing, I think you'd be a lot more comfortable in North Korea.
Right. I mean, literally, we heard a guy this week saying you make fun of China and all these other places saying they have a police state, but here we are.
Yeah, and their police state extends to a social credit score where if you say something the government doesn't like, or if you're friends with someone the government has some kind of problem with, they can just shut down your ability to purchase groceries.
Yeah, it's coming if they can get it.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
It's authoritarian police state that would make Orwell turn in his grave. But anyway, let's all get together and fight these things. Please join us at America First Abilene. And check us out pretty soon here on Rumble and YouTube. I think Chris is going to get our last video.
Yeah, we've had some stuff up, but there's going to be some more stuff here within the next couple of days up there.
Yeah. And also, I did make contact. We've been talking about false flags for a long time. I've been warning people repeatedly about false flags coming up. Mm-hmm. And there's no doubt in my mind that 9/11 was the result of a conspiracy by elite planners from governments, intelligence agencies, financial sector, etc. It was a plan, but you see a lot of false disinformation out there that's so ridiculous it kind of makes you tune out. And one of those theories is that no planes were used in the September 11th attacks. Well, I've always known that was false.
Right.
I'm familiar with the footage. The Naudet brothers from France were there doing a documentary that morning on the New York Fire Department. They happened to catch the fire department doing a drill when the first plane struck the North Tower. And you notice the firemen look up when they hear the plane first. And then they see it crash into that North Tower. That's the only footage of the North Tower strike there is. Well, if the planes were fake, if they were holograms, they would not be heard before they were seen by the firefighters. And also, I made contact today with a person who was there. He was a witness on the ground, and he said he saw the planes himself. So don't fall for every rabbit hole out there, because I believe that one may even be some kind of government disinformation to make the theory look... Yeah. The rest of the analysis you do on 9/11, it looks insane if you throw in there were no planes there.
Right.
And so I think they do that to discredit the movement.
It's highly possible.
and I'll be talking very soon with that witness. Maybe, I'm not sure if he'll let me go with public with his information or not. But he personally witnessed the South Tower strike, and I'll give you an update on how it goes with him. Chris, is that all we got?
That's all I got this time.
Well, we thank y'all very much for tuning in. Please keep sharing your feedback with us. Any important issues we might be missing locally here in Abilene or nationally, we'll cover it. And until next time.
Yep. Stay safe. Keep your liberties.
Stay safe and free.
Amen.